What's up everyone, Adam from Cape Crawlers, and today we're going to be taking a look at the FMS Atlas 6x6 crawler. Welcome back to the channel everybody. Got a fun video for you today. We're going to take a look at the FMS Atlas 6x6. Now this is a fun, ready to run crawler that I picked up on Black Friday for 99 bucks. I got it initially just because it was a good deal and it looked like a fun rig. But I started posting content on social media and a lot of people started asking me to do a review on it. So I'm going to deliver on that today. I'm going to give you guys an unboxing, a review, and some good run footage of the Atlas 6x6. Now it's funny before I get into it because I bought it, like I said, I just got it because it was a really good deal. I mean, it was marked down from 160 bucks down to 99, so I scooped up a red one for Axel and I to play with. And it really surprised me. It's got a ton of really great features right out of the box that make it a really unique and capable rig. It's just a ton of fun. So it's fun to look at, it's fun to drive, it's really capable, waterproof, you know, it's got a ton of stuff. So why don't we take a look at this thing, check out the features and the specs, then I'll kind of give you some run footage and then wrap it all up with my final thoughts. Let's check it out. So let's get into this thing. So I'm going to just kind of give you my first impressions of it as we open it up and what I thought of it when I first opened it up. And then we'll go over some of the key features as we get going here. I'm not going to dive too deep into the specifications, but I will hit the highlights to kind of give you guys the rundown of this thing. So when you open it up, it has your owner's manual here. It's got some tools, got your basic tools. It's got a nice little screwdriver. Has your tool here for the wheel nuts and everything. It does have a bind plug. Comes with 6 extra springs and of course your detailed owner's manual. Comes with the transmitter here. This is a 2.4 gigahertz transmitter. Comes in 2 pieces. Batteries go here and then you lock and load right here. Just like that. Speaking of batteries, shout out to EBL. Been using these EBL batteries lately. I keep this charger right on my bench. They sent me over an extra set, which I thought was really cool. So we're going to take 4 of these AAAs out and pop them in here, and then you'll be good to go. The crawler comes ready to run, but you just need to supply your own batteries for the transmitter, which is what we got here. So thank you, EBL. Check these guys out. If you go through a lot of AA's and AAA's with these things like I do, it's a great option. While we're talking about the transmitter, it is eerily similar to the Furitech Avatar. So when I opened this up, I thought, I know that transmitter. So it was very familiar feel. You know, this is a great transmitter, nice and small, fits in the hand, easy for one-handed driving. Here's the Furitech. You look at them side by side. They are virtually identical. The Furitech does have this digital display, joystick, and some more functionality, but just thought that was interesting that virtually identical to that Avatar. This have your basic trim adjustments here, on and off. No drag brake settings or headlight settings on the transmitter, but feels good, works well nonetheless. Taking the crawler out of the box. First impressions, it just has this really nice, tough, rugged, old school look. I really like the body work. It's got the Power Wagon style body, similar to the FCX24 Power Wagon. Little different shape and different colors, different shade of colors too. This is more of a matte finish, kind of a more rugged finish, and I think it's narrower as well. The running boards are also integrated into the body. It's not a 2-piece design like the FCX24 is. This comes in 2 colors. It comes in red or blue. We opted for the red. It's got this nice rugged front bumper, LED headlights up front and taillights in the back. I really like the taillights in the back because it has, the fake cage over the taillights, which is really cool. These are nice and bright also. To open the body, this was a little confusing at first because I could not figure it out. And there's no hood pins, there's no Velcro, there's no nothing. But to do that, it's hinged in the front and a magnet here in the back of the cab. And then it's very simple popping on and off. But initially it was really confusing because I couldn't figure out how to do it because the magnet is tough. You can almost lift up the whole rig by the cab because that magnet holds it down really well. So once I figured it out, I loved this design. It keeps the truck nice and clean. There's no latches or anything visible in sight. So I really like that. Inside, it does come with a good sized battery. It comes with a 7.4 volt, 600 milliamp battery. good runtime on this. 30 to 40 minutes generally is what we experience, so it works really well. It has a brushed 50-sized 55-turn motor, has your crawler transmission here, single-speed transmission in this one, and it has your ESC and receiver combo up front. There is an on-off switch right here. We typically just leave it on and just plug the battery in and out as our go-to. Some of the other cool details on this, it does have the fake exhaust here running up the side. It even has little heat sinks down here to add some extra detail and some character to it. So it just looks like an old school truck with the heat shields on the bottom and the stacks coming up the side. It's got a nice rugged cage on the back. I mean, really rugged. This thing is tough. And on the back of the headache rack here, it's got some clamps to pop in some scale tools. So if you had a scale shovel, axe, whatever, you could kind of pop those into those slots. I think that's really neat. FMS does a great job with their scale details and accessories. This is no exception. Also has a little toolbox here, so you can pop this lid open and throw in a spare battery. I don't know if it was purely meant for that. This is what FMS references on their website, but it is a perfect fit for a spare battery. If you wanted to throw a battery in there and take it with you out on the trail, that works great. It's a little finicky to close. Just going to figure it out here. There we go. Once we get it, you get a nice click, and then the thing is solid. It's not going anywhere. There is some room in the bed back here. There's a functional spare tire on here with a beadlock wheel to match the rest of them. Speaking of the wheels and tires, we can take a look at those. These are 1-inch wheels. They are a true beadlock, so you can break these down if you want to. These tires are very soft and squishy. The tread design is kind of like a big block tread design is what FMS references on their website. But they're nice and soft, no inserts in these, and certainly vented. So they are squishy. They do hook up well though. From a suspension standpoint, you've got coilover friction damped shocks all around, 6 of them. These are not oil filled, so you do get a little bit of bounce with these, but they still work well. Underneath here, it's got an aluminum ladder frame. It's got composite linkage all throughout. Inside each of these 3 axle houses, it utilizes a ring and pinion setup. And again, up front here, it's hard to see the servo. You can come here and see. You can kind of see it. Uses a chassis mounted servo. It does have the traditional servo style connector. So if you wanted to upgrade your servo, it doesn't have the tiny little plug like the other FMS models do. So you could upgrade your servo pretty easily with this. Retail price on this thing is about $159 depending on where you get it, but you can also save some money by using our discount codes down below. One thing to note too, this does have an aftermarket trailer hitch on it. This is what Axel and I primarily use it for. It's got the drop hitch on the back from Sleekin RC, and we like to hook up our little Sleekin RC trailer and haul it around. This is what Axel really loves to do, and really what we've been doing a lot with it lately. It's got a ton of power, it's a lot of fun, and it makes a great tow rig. But it has far more capabilities than just a tow rig. So why don't we get this out on the course, and I'll show you guys some run footage and you can see it in action. Let's run this thing so you guys check it out. It's going to be a little tight on the indoor course just because this thing is long. It's an 18th scale and it's got a long wheelbase. So we'll do what we can on the course here. Despite its size, it does pretty good on the indoor course, I gotta say. That big bumper up front still allows for a decent approach angle. I do have the trailer hitch on the back, remember, so this is gonna hurt us on these uphill climbs, but not too bad there. The long wheelbase, you do get hung up a little bit here and there. That breakover is a bit of a challenge, especially in some situations like this. But having that 6-wheel drive is nice because one of those tires is going to find traction. And the 50 size motor has quite a bit of power for this thing. It's got plenty of punch, pretty smooth off the bottom. One of the things I really like about this, and I don't know if you can hear it, is the noise that it makes. It makes like a I don't know what it is, like a legit truck noise. It's a cool noise that it makes, unique to any other crawler that we have, and I just think it's really cool. It's a lot of fun to watch it move around. You know, those 6 wheels, it's like a centipede almost. It does excellent on vertical climbs, as you can imagine. It's got that long wheelbase, you know, that makes it a very, very good climber. Speaking of climbs, why don't we bring it over here and do some vertical climbing so you guys can really see it in its element. This is the escalator, no problem. Easy on the chute. Now let's check out Hell's Gate. That's pretty good for a stock rig, right? This is what really surprised me the most about this thing when I realized that it was definitely a serious rig, was when it ripped right up all the obstacles on Mini Moab in completely stock form. It's got good drag brake functionality too. You know, it's able to be very well controlled on the descent, which is nice. Works really well. I'm gonna get hung up here though because it's just too long. It's also surprisingly stable horizontally. It's not that tippy at all. It's really well balanced. See, look at the climb. This thing's an animal. This is one thing, you see that it gets that kind of wheel hop there. So when you've got your high centered like that, sometimes you get that chatter in the wheel. You usually run into that on, you know, real steep inclines when that middle set of wheels and tires is off the ground, or when you get high centered like I just was. Man, this thing can climb though. So impressive on the vertical climbs. So another cool feature of this truck is that it's 100% waterproof. Not water resistant, waterproof. Now I wasn't going to do this, but I'm going to submerge it for you guys. I've never done this before. Axel and I have never taken it in the water above the tires. But let's check it out and really put this thing to the test and see if it is waterproof. I've seen some other videos of folks doing this, but I've never tried it myself. So I'm a little nervous, but let's give it a go and see how it does. So waterproof it is. That was such a cool test, really nerve-wracking. I was so afraid I was going to ruin Axel's favorite little crawler, but the thing clawed its way out of the water like a swamp creature and then continued to soldier along the beach, and we played for another 20 minutes or so. Super cool rig. So the Atlas might be the biggest surprise in the crawler market that we've encountered thus far. I was not expecting to like it as much as I did, and we have just had a blast with this thing. It was an impulse buy, like I said. We just picked it up on a Black Friday deal, and I'm so glad we did because the thing is just awesome. We just have so much fun with it. Some of its strengths, I would say, are vertical climbing and descents. It's got that great drag brake setup from the factory and that long wheelbase. Man, that thing can climb crazy, crazy steep hills and inclines right from the factory. It's amazing. We take it out to the gravel pit and the sand and rock pit that we usually go to near our house here. And Axel will take it up these crazy, gnarly inclines in these hills and rock piles. It's just amazing what this thing can climb. It's really versatile. You know, it's got that great power plant in it. The single speed transmission and that brushed motor work really well. It's got plenty of power to haul things around with the little trailer like we really like to do. But it's also got good low speed power and plenty of range in the power band so that it can crawl and do a really good job on its own. It's fun to rock crawl it, but it's not at home on the rocks, I would say. It struggles a little bit just because of the long wheelbase. You get high centered a lot because of, that breakover angle's pretty tough when you're really long rig like that thing is. And when you do get hung up, you get kind of that wheel chatter, that axle chatter. When that center set of wheels is off the ground and you're putting the power down, it kind of hops back and forth. You get that wheel hop in there. But eventually, the thing has enough tires moving around and plenty of grunt that it usually finds traction, and you can rock yourself up out of most positions. The biggest pro of this thing, I've got to say, is the durability. This thing has taken a beating. Axel is not easy on things at all, and this thing has taken some abuse from him, and it barely looks worn. It's only got a few scratches here and there. The paint's barely worn off on the fenders. Everything else is held up amazingly well. This thing is tough, I gotta tell you. If it can survive the axle test, you know that it's doing good. This is by far the most durable crawler that we've experienced to date, and I'm really, really happy with that. It's perfect for what we do, and it's perfect if you have young kids who like to just thrash stuff. The waterproof electronics are awesome. Added functionality like the beadlock wheels, the soft tires, that hard cage in the back with the utility rack and the toolbox. There's just a lot of features on this thing that give it a lot of bang for the buck and a lot of value for what you get. As far as cons go, I have a really hard time coming up with anything that I dislike or really can complain about with this truck. It works really good, and I was so surprised with it. I do kind of wish that it had the same 2-speed gearbox and maybe a bigger motor, similar to the FCX24. If it had the 130 motor and the 2-speed transmission, that might be a lot of fun, because then you could have a lower gear for towing and for crawling, real low-speed crawling. And then with that long wheelbase, if you had a high-speed gear, it would be really funny to see how fast it could go and what it could do with some speed to it. I do wish there was a way to toggle the lights on and off with the transmitter. They're always on. That's just a minor complaint. I do like having the ability to flip them on and off. That would be nice, but that's a real minor concern. I can't really think of much else to complain about. I'm really kind of digging deep at this point just to try to come up with some cons to balance all of the pros. But overall, I really love this truck, and we have a ton of fun with it. So I'm going to wrap it up there. So let me know in the comments down below what you think of the 6x6. Also, if you've done any modifications to the 6x6, let me know. I'm curious if I should start a build on this thing. Axel kind of wants to leave it stock, but I'm already itching to see what it can do. I'm thinking a monster truck 6x6 might be cool. I don't know if you'll let me do it, but let me know your thoughts down below. Love to hear from you guys. As always, thanks so much for watching. I appreciate your time. Please like and subscribe if you haven't done so, and I'll see you in the next video.